Okay, everybody. I'm so excited to have Tad Hargrave here, and not only Tad, but also a group of my own clients who have very graciously allowed themselves to be recorded in this coaching experience. So yes, all of you watching this is going to be a sample of what Tad does, one of the things Tad does in his programs, in his membership program, in his mentorship program, and just how he does it with clients. I think it's one of the things that's he's really good at, really genius at. Those of you who don't know Tad Hargrave, shame on you. How can you not know it? No, I've been working with Tad for years now. We've been sharing each other's stuff, and you may have seen other videos that I've featured him on. But if you don't know who Tad Hargrave is, he is the founder of Marketing for Hippies, and he also is. Check out his social media. He's got great Instagram, great Facebook, etc. I'll link everything below. But he not only shares his wisdom in regards to business and marketing, etc., but also just he's got really entertaining memes that both are entertaining and bring some profundity, some wisdom to it. So I like that. Without further ado, Tad, we've got a whole list of um, niche statements for you to kind of coach us through. And so the goal, just to frame it, we have we're going to get through as many as we can, and these are short statements that my clients have submitted that describes their niche, kind of what they do, who they do it for, etc. And Tad's really good at kind of helping people through clarifying it. And anyway, I'm gonna just Tad, I'll let you take it away. Do you want to say anything before we get to our first person? No? Let's do it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go for it. I mentioned that Tara, you'll be first, so let me go ahead and bring the document up, and here we are. So Tara Whitney, I'll read it, and then Tad, you can, or no, I'll let you read it. Yeah.
Okay. So I guide women in their 40s and 50s that are tired of yo-yo dieting, emotional eating, and believing their body isn't good enough to feel free and peaceful around food and trust their body. First of all, Tara, this is beautiful work. Thank you for doing it. I wish it weren't needed. I could probably say that for everyone here. Here's what's really good about this statement. So we know it's women, clear, in their 40s and 50s, so that's clear. Tired of yo-yo dieting, emotional eating, that's also clear. That's a good symptom. One of the ways we want to articulate who we're trying to reach is what, if your ideal client was on island A, there's some problems, some symptoms they want to be on island B, there's some results that they're craving. Articulating those islands is very important. So this is a great example of island A. We know the moment they're in, and this is a question I got from Jeffrey Van Dyke. Very useful question, which is just what's the perfect moment for you to show up in their life? Because there's a moment it's too soon. There's a moment it's too late, but there is a sweet spot. There's a perfect moment. So what's the perfect moment for you to show up in their life? Okay, so they're tired. We know that they've already tried those things, and now they're tired of that. And they're tired of believing their body isn't good enough. So this is one of the places I wonder, is this question, is that something they're thinking? And it's one of the big questions in distinguishing what I would call point of view or your diagnosis from the symptoms. Because if they're lying asleep at 3 a.m. saying, I'm so tired of feeling like my body is not good enough, if that's what's happening, I would keep that here. But if not, it's I would probably cut it. Or the question becomes this: what happens when somebody doesn't believe their body is good enough? And this can be really useful when you have something where you can see you have a diagnosis. Okay, this is what's going on for you. You think your body isn't good enough. That's what's happening at the deeper level. But then you start to ask yourself, okay, if somebody didn't believe that, or not hypothetically, when they don't, what are the symptoms that show up? And that's what guides us back to Island A. Yeah, and you may see this in other examples today. You look at the diagnosis. Okay, with that diagnosis, what symptoms come? What are the things they would be experiencing? Okay, and then you help them to feel free and peaceful around food and trust their body. That's beautiful. So yeah, Tara, are they aware of this at all? Are they, I mean, do they have that conscious, I am tired of thinking my body isn't good enough? Is that what they say to you? Have you ever heard anyone say that? Or is that your sort of understanding?
Yeah, that is such a great question. I mean, they'll use language like, "I hate my body. I feel like my body's really fat." It's a constant and persistent dialogue generally that is
Uh,
just running through their heads all the time, and um, judging my body, comparing it. It's like it's pretty all encompassing,
so
and they've learned to tolerate it. So it's this epiphany of I've been tolerating this since I was 12 or whatever, middle
what's it?
school, whenever.
What's it in that sentence?
Um, Believing their body's not good enough.
See, so this is the big question: is
Yeah,
is it one of the major questions is around what is their level of awareness about the causation, the actual causation of their symptoms or not?
right, right.
Um, because they might say to you, say, "Oh, so you have a belief that you're ugly," and they look at you and they say, "No, I am ugly. Look at my body." "Oh, you have a belief that you're too fat." "What do you mean belief? I weighed myself. Look at me. I'm too fat." "Oh, you have a belief that your body isn't good enough." Uh, Obviously, I've been dumped because of this. Guys aren't
Mhm.
interested in me because of this. Of course, it's not good enough. I could try to lose weight and I can't. Something's wrong with my body. So they look at you like you're crazy for questioning the belief because for them, it's not a belief. In their mind, they're just saying, "I'm reporting on the facts, and the facts are this." So this becomes it may be that your bullseye client does get that. One example was a client of mine in Victoria, where I'm at now, Rachel Warrington, and she did healing work. And a lot of people came to her with these mysterious aches and pains in their body. They go to the doctor, naturopaths, they say, "We can't figure anything out." And I said, what's it about? Because she seemed to have a good record of helping people with this. That's often emotional stuff from childhood. And on a sort of intuition, I said, "What? Do they know that? What percentage of your clients come to you saying, 'I thought it was that. Secretly, I suspected.'" And she said, "Oh, a lot of them actually." So that became the headline. "Hey, are you experiencing these aches, pains, symptoms that are mysterious and persistent, and you secretly suspect that these might be caused by something in childhood?" Suddenly, you're taking what would have been a point of view piece, but for them, if they're suspecting it, if they're aware of it, you can move it into the point of view. So I just um, that's the question here: is this point of view or is this um, symptom?
So, so if I were to just recite what I'm hearing from you, I think what you're saying is that there's a symptom that I'm likely missing, and that what I'm describing isn't necessarily their point of view, but they have a point of view, and it might be different from believing that their body isn't good enough. Like their symptom may be um, see, this is when I go in circles because I feel like the symptom is that they choose to diet because they're trying to fix the problem that they see, and so it goes in circles like that. But
Yes. Yeah.
and I can spend some more time with this, but I'm just curious, like, is that the for so it's the what's sitting in front of them as that they see as it, as opposed to saying, oh, of course I know my body's not good enough.
Well, okay. So here, let me come at this another angle. So
Hmm.
I guess I would ask everyone to reflect on this as I ask this question. Um, 'Cause this is a really core question. Imagine this: you're at the bar with a client. It's 3 a.m. You've had some drinks, and they look at you and they're bereft. Whatever the problem is that you help people with, they look at you bereft, and they say, and so what's going on? Give it to me straight. Why am I struggling with my weight? What's that, or whatever that issue is that you all help people with, and they want to know. It's plaintive. And they're saying, just don't pull any punches. Just hit me between the eyes with this. Why? And the cab's coming. You've got to get them in their cab and you've got to head your way. So you've got about 15 seconds now to just say, you really want to know. Here it is. Yeah. So I would just invite everyone to write down, just on your own, what is it you would say? And so, Tara, what would you say to them?
You're disconnected from your body.
Yeah.
Another way to put it would be you're completely living outside of your body instead of inside of your body.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So they're looking for the solution in the wrong place, in a way.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I could see that being part of it. So part of the reason I ask is sometimes the niche contains the point of view. Part of the trouble. I mean, Tara's picked one of the most crowded spaces in the world, this weight loss thing. There's so many. And part of the challenge with this in terms of niching, because if your niche is your role in the marketplace, your role in the community, then what happens is people, they see, oh, weight loss, next. And even they see some of the things that Tara wrote of, hey, are you tired of yo-yo dieting? Seen it. Are you tired of this? Seen it. You've seen it all. So sometimes we have to come up with a very compelling thing. A woman in my mentorship program, which I retired a month ago, Suzanne Kohlberg, I was speaking with her and I asked her the same question: why do people struggle? And her answer is basically because people are overweight because they overgive. It's not that they don't know what to do, but it's always oh, the kids need this, my friends need this, so they never do any of the stuff. It's always put off for somebody else. And so the headline became, what if being overweight is a result of overgiving? Something like that. And what's interesting is when she went to podcasts, then if she'd say, imagine this, she goes to podcasts, say, hey, I'm a life coach, want to interview me? Next. Oh, no, more specific. I'm a health coach. Next, more specific. I'm a weight loss coach. Even still, no, but I help people who are sick of yo-yo dieting. Really, I've seen it. But when she showed up and said, yeah, I'm a weight loss coach, and here's my take, is that people are overweight because they overgive. Oh, that's new. Huh. So I just hear something in here, Tara, about they're looking in the wrong place. So I could see something in the headline of, they've been looking outside themselves.
Yeah, I've said that a dozen times.
Okay, so I could just see weaving that somehow in, and then there's a question to also consider is, because that could just be a provocative headline, which is good. I mean, that which could grab attention and buys you time to make a little bit of a case. But it also might be that they're silently suspecting it. Like, what if the answer isn't out here? It's that old story of, why are you looking under that, that lamp on the street? Oh, I lost my ring. Where did you lose it? Oh, in the backyard. But why aren't you looking in the backyard then? Well, the light's better out here. They're looking in the wrong place for the thing. So anyways, I would just say that's a thread to keep following, to explore. And beautiful work. Thank you for doing it.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That was really helpful.
Thank you. Thanks, Tara. Thanks, Tad. All right. So thank you. And those of you who are here, whether you are here live and can chat in Zoom below, or if you're watching this and any other thoughts you have for Tara and everybody else, please comment below, because you just might have a perspective, a turn of phrase that really makes a difference for her and for others. So please go ahead and do that. Okay, let's continue on here. I'm just going to go to the list and let's see here. I'm just going to see if those are here. Okay, Eric's not here yet, so I'm going to go to Tia.
Great.
I think Tia's here. Yeah, great. Okay. Hi, Tia. Feel free to unmute if you like. And
good evening.
Hey, good to see you. Okay, and Tad, go ahead.
Okay.
Let me get the screen a little better here. There we go.
So I offer holistic self-care tools for healing complex PTSD and narcissistic relationship dynamics, blending ancient tools of Qigong and mindfulness with leading-edge neuroscience to regulate nervous systems and transform trauma bonds. This is great. George, your clients are basically killing. I'm giving sort of a persnickety things here. So Do you work with the both sides of the narcissistic relationship dynamics?
Good question. So, most narcissists are not looking at any sort of therapy or curious about holistic tools for anything. Um, but I do believe we're dealing with a spectrum.
Sure.
Narcissism, egoism, narcissistic empathy, it's all connected. And there is quite a range of tendencies. So, yes, I am dealing with the whole spectrum.
Okay, but it's more likely that you're dealing with the person who's not the narcissist. Yeah. The
Pretty much.
Well, do you know why the narcissist crossed the road? They thought it was a boundary.
Yes.
Okay, so I would probably suggest honing this to focus on that group. And this is something just for everyone. We often, there's the fear of missing out. Oh God, if I just focus on this, I'll lose out, as if it's a binary. But as Tia said, there's a bit of a spectrum here. And another way to look at it is like a dartboard or a target. There's a bullseye, and then there are the rings outside of it. So it sounds like the bullseye, the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest thing for you is you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you're trying to figure shit out.
Definitely.
But then one ring out could be, I'm in a relationship with these dynamics and I don't know which one I am. I don't know, but you see what I'm saying? There may be multiple, and maybe the furthest ring out, that's not your aim, but you're really happy to work with them. If somebody says, I think I'm a narcissist or have those tendencies and I really want to work on it. So it's good to know who's the bullseye. Where are we going to focus it specifically? And then the other thing I might tweak here is, because it starts off with holistic self-care tools, and I might just cut that entirely. Now it's interesting because you complex PTSD, narcissistic relationship. So is this the same thing in your mind, or are these two different groups?
They're completely connected. So people who grow up in trauma, they're really drawn toward abusive relationships.
Okay. So then I might just say, I'll riff on a few possibilities. One is, you know how there's certain people who are just drawn to abusive relationships, and they can't even figure out why, but they just keep being drawn. Or it could be, you know, there's some people that are really drawn to abusive relationships and they're finally starting to realize this has to do with my childhood, the trauma I went through, the kind of the emotional poverty that I endured. Oh man, that's why. And they're finally ready to deal with this because they're tired of it. They're at that sounds like probably the bullseye. Somebody, of course, who's in that place where they're ready and willing to actually, do the. But then again, the ring out of that might be, I think that might be true. I'm not convinced, and I'm going to need some convincing that this is really about my stuff and it's not about them. And that's where a lot of what George is talking about, this content that you create, this helping people get to know you a bit at a distance. That's where this comes in, so they can build some trust. I can't even tell you how many clients I've had reach out to me, say, I've been following you for years. But, and by the time they reach, now they're ready. They just weren't ready before. So I would rehome this focused on the person who's drawn to those dynamics. It will grab them so much more, because right now this is heavily about you, whereas this statement needs to be entirely about them, or mostly. And it's interesting because the holistic self-care tool, so that's the boat for healing complex PTSD. It's island A, but it's only island A if they realize that's what's going on. If they don't realize that that's what's going on, it's your diagnosis. That's the difference. So if they come to you saying, I'm struggling with complex PTSD and it has me drawn to narcissistic relationships, that's one thing. But if they come to you and it's like, this is the fifth guy I've been with, who is this, what the hell? And this is about, I know it. He's my father. Every single guy, I think he's different, and it ends up being my dad or my mother or whatever. And I'm just trying to, and I'm just ready to, I'm sick of this, there's that. And then, because then the thing is, you say, when somebody says, what do I, God, just hit me between the, what do I need? You say, you need a lot of healing and self-care. And you're going to need to regulate your nervous system. This is the most important thing. This is not an ideological thing we can fix. This is a neurological, biological thing that we've got to tend to. And as you heal that, a lot of these other things will, you just won't be as drawn or attractive to them or whatever. So then you can say that. So, I mean, yeah, how does that land for you?
It sounds right. I hear what you're saying. I think even the complex PTSD is unknown to a lot of people. They don't know what that is. But if I say, are you experiencing anxiety and panic attacks in your relationship? They'll be like, yes. Do you
Bingo.
find yourself in the same dynamic over and over where you're not getting your needs met and you're catching the silent treatment? I'll get 40,000 people drawn to that.
Oh man, that's a hell of a headline. Tired of the silent treatment, or a subheadline. Exactly. These are and by the way, these are, if you ever say, I don't know what I put in a headline, where do I find these kinds of symptoms anyways? I'll tell you where. First of all, go to Amazon.com, look up any books on this topic, and on the back cover, they've done it. These copywriters know what they're doing. So there's a bunch there. But even better, hit Google and search for quizzes and assessments. Is my partner a narcissist? And you'll just see symptom after symptom. And then you can pick the ones that, jump out to you the most or you think are the most relevant for your people. And it's really good. But Tia said, I don't know the complex PTSD, would they even recognize that? That's the key. Because if they would recognize it, it's like, oh yeah, all of them that come to me say, I know I've got that. Then it's in the headline. But if not, it's still on the sales letter, but it's lower. It's just not the first thing. You get to it eventually. And you say, here's why you're having these anxiety attacks, and here's why you get the silent treatment, why you're drawn to these people in the first place is because you have trauma that you haven't recognized, and then you map it out for them. Here's what's going on for you, and you just break it down for them in the sales letter. You can break it down. Here's my point of view. Here's the whole thing. And as they read it, they say, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Everything she's saying is mapping onto my experience, and that's where you build the credibility. The credibility is built when you have something to say. I made a video a while ago called, Tell Me Something I Don't Know. That's what they want to hear. I mean, this is moving into point of view marketing, but they want to hear something they don't know from you. And that makes sense of their experience. So anyways, Tia, thank you for doing this work. Again,
yeah, thanks, Tad. I really appreciate that. And great taking notes, George.
Yes, thank you, George.
Thank you.
I try.
That's where the Oscar is going to go today. Oscar to George for best taking notes.
That's hilarious. All right, thank you, Tia. Thank you. Well, let's continue on. Let's see. All right, I'm just taking a look at Bings is here, I believe. So we're going to bring Bings on. Bings, if you're able to speak, feel free to unmute. And good to have you here.
Hi everyone. Hi Josh. Hi Ted.
Hi. Okay,
Hey,
I'm just gonna.
Bings, where are you based?
From Singapore.
Oh, great. Okay.
Cool. Great. So, Tad, take it
Okay.
away.
Thank you. For human design coaching, energy healing, and intuitive movement practices to help energetically sensitive women understand how to take care of their energetic selves so they can design a new business that feels sustainable and fulfilling. Okay. Beautiful. Well, there's certainly a lot of women who would fit this description and easily overwhelmed and need a way to do their life that's in alignment with who they actually are. So wonderful. Okay, so let's see. What I see is that Island B, the thing that they're really craving here is to have a new business that feels sustainable and fulfilling. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's Island B. That's the craving is, boy, I really want this. Now, here's my question for you. Why don't they just go do it? If I was talking to one of these women, what if I just said to them, yeah, I mean, so just do it. Go create a business. You know, what's the problem? What do you think they would say? Or what do you think is going on that they don't?
Um, so I only have a few clients so far, and what I've heard from them is that they are in a job right now,
Mhm.
and they saw one of the case studies that I did, and they were like, oh wow, they can like I can offer such information to them. So they are interested, they are intrigued, and so it's not really a problem solving kind of session, I guess. It's more um, providing information that will help them design their business.
Yes, yes. First of all, by the way, I should have said this at the beginning of the call. I know we're on the internet; it's an international crowd, and we're doing all of this in English. And so, for all of you who are this is not your dominant language or your first language, just I'm grateful for your patience and your willingness translating it. It's not easy. So, for all of you, just thank you. Yes, it's. Let me hone the question a little bit. Bings is still, why don't they do it? Why don't they just, why do they need you at all? Why do they need any help? Why don't they just roll out and, they see a case study you do and they say, hey, that's a great idea. I'm going to have a business. Thanks, Bing. See you later. I'm off to do it on my own. Why don't they just do that?
I think it's because they're not happy at their day job, and it's got to do with how they feel overwhelmed and unsatisfied. Um,
Yeah.
and
Well, so
they
that's why they want to leave the job. They're unsatisfied. They're overwhelmed at their job. Yes.
yes,
So, but why don't they leave the job?
I think they're not sure how to um, design a business that um, suits who they are energetically. Because like being a solopreneur, it's so much. There's so much more freedom in how you design your day, the structure, your schedule, and all that. So I think having this information helps them to know what they need for their self-care and how they can be service to others, and also have proper self-care so it's more sustainable.
Beautiful. So what I'm hearing is a lot of these women, at least so far, they have a job, they're unfulfilled, they don't like it. So that's island A. Island B is they've got a business that feels sustainable and fulfilling. One of the little tricks that we can add to any kind of a headline around this, I call it there's two frames you can add. One's called the even if frame, and one's called the without frame. So the even if frame would sound something like how you can leave your job and create a sustainable, fulfilling business, even if you have no idea where to start, even if it seems impossible, even if your family and friends would deeply disapprove, even if it seems like a financially ridiculous idea. You can fill in the blanks there. Yeah. Because sometimes there is that they look at it and they say, oh, I would, but you say, no, even if that, you can still do it. Even if you think that's for other people, however they would complete that sentence. The other one is the without frame. And the without frame is that for a lot of people, there's a fear of what they might have to do in order to achieve the result. So for example, I want to not be depressed anymore. I want to be happy. but I'm afraid I'll have to be on pharmaceuticals for the rest of my life. Yeah. I really want to lose weight, but I don't want a yo-yo diet. I really want to, I don't know, break this cycle of relationships, of being in narcissist relationships, but I don't want to do 10 years of therapy or spend $20,000 on therapy or whatever it is. So you can then add that to the headline, you know, how you can create a business, a really successful, fulfilling business, leave your job, stick it to the man, create your own successful business without risking your life savings, without losing all of your friendships and family, without going bankrupt, without whatever the fear is. That can be very helpful to add to that. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes. Still,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. So those are things I would just keep rolling with, but it's a very clear island A and island B. You know how these people stuck in a job, they want a business. I help them do that, even if or without this, and that'll take it to the next step of clarity. And because maybe I'm seeing they're energetically sensitive, and so maybe it could be without burning out and getting overwhelmed. Could be the without. Yeah. Even if you feel so sensitive, or even if you feel completely lost. And I can even see really tightening that bit about the sustainable fulfilling, how to create a business that just fits you like a tailored suit, how to create a business that just fits you so perfectly. You know, it's like as if your job was some frumpy clothes that don't fit at all. It's a suit that you got from your grandfather and you're 13 years old wearing, and it doesn't fit at all. But clothes that just fit you exactly, that express you, something like that. I could see coming up with some metaphor, some analogy for this, where it's, you know, or you could say, you know, the kind of, because I imagine with their job, they're not happy to get up in the morning and go to this job. This is not fun for them. It's like the kind of job you just want to, when you wake up in the morning, you want to jump out of bed. You're so happy every morning. I can't believe I get to do this. Maybe could be something like that.
I have a question. So,
Okay.
because I don't teach them how to create a business, so how do I create more clarity around this?
So you don't help them create the business, you help them with the taking the self-care and the getting to know themselves piece?
Yes, and like how to manage that sensitivity so they can use it more as a gift rather than a burden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it strikes me that this steps a little to the side of this idea of hub marketing, but it could be that you go to, there's two ends to this. One is there might be career counselors. You know, maybe these people are going and talking to somebody like a career counselor. I'm so sick of my job. What do I do? What's next? There are people who help with that. And you could go to them and you say, look, I don't help them build a new business. I don't help them find a new job. But my thing is helping them really understand themselves so they can make good choices at a really deep level, and so they're not overwhelmed. So if you know any clients, sometimes these people will bring you in to work with their clients. And that could be the whole marketing strategy you have. And, or it could be people who are business coaches. And you say, look, if you ever have clients like this, I can sort of get them ready for you. I can get them to a place where, you know, you can become a source of referrals for business coaches. And you can just be very clear. You can say, look, if you're working a job, you want to leave it and start a business, there's multiple steps to that journey. I don't help with them all. I help with step one. And in my opinion, step one is you've got to get to know your human design. You've got to do some healing. There's got to be some self-care. You've got to have some practices to manage your sensitivity so you can use this as a gift. Because otherwise, when you show up in a business, you'll just get blown away by all the intensity or something like that.
And I just want to say, Bings is actually naturally, or she already is doing a great job with hub marketing, because she has a a medium.com publication that brings together other authentic solopreneurs. So she's already a hub. So this is great extension of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bing's the next step on this will be the Island A then is still a little bit is going to need some work in terms of what I get is they're at a job they want to leave. It sounds like they really want a sustainable, fulfilling business. And there's somewhere in there that you show up. And there's something about the fact that they are extremely sensitive that is connected to why they think this is going to be a difficult journey or why it has been a difficult journey. There are questions around, do you want to work with these people who are, these women who've never tried to have a business? Have they tried and failed? You know, what's the perfect moment for you to show up? There's going to be a moment in the journey it's too soon. There's a moment it's too late. There's a sweet spot, the breaking point, where they finally say, I'm going to deal with this. So that would be the thing I'd reflect on. What's the breaking point? What's the perfect moment where they finally say, I need to deal with this sensitivity I have. So those would be some of the next steps, I'd say.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, Bings. Right. And Evelyn, I think, is here as well. And Evelyn's also, checking in from Singapore. So back to back. Hey, Evelyn.
Hello. Hi.
Good to have you here. So here is Evelyn's statement. And just go ahead and set this up here. And Tad, go ahead.
Okay. I help women solopreneurs clear their subconscious fears and anxiety about not being good enough so that they can love themselves, confidently align with their potential, and manifest the life and business that they'd love. A question for Ted is, what are your thoughts about using words like solopreneurs, subconscious, spiritual, and conscious entrepreneurs, release energy? Do they sound too jargony? Should we be using that are more layperson, even though they may accurately describe what we're offering, who we wish to target? This is a great question. So it depends. It really depends. The key distinction is this. Do they identify with those words? If so, use them. But if not, if you don't hear them using those words, if when you say it, they're not, oh yeah, that's me. That's the key with this statement, what we're going for. Our only goal in this statement is that when they read it, they say, that's me. Not, that's nice. We don't want them to read it and say, Evelyn, you go get them. Nice work there. Good job on that thing you're doing over there. We want our ideal clients to read it and say, wow, that is me. You have nailed the moment I am in my life right now, rather than a diagnosis. So it really depends. Now, solopreneurs, to me, that word makes sense. Kind of intuitively, just the meaning of it, you have business on your own. Subconscious, I think that's probably well enough understood, but maybe not. It's a bit diagnostic. I mean, it gets to the longer phrase in your piece. Spiritual or conscious entrepreneurs, it's fine as what I would call a big circle. As your ideal client, I think it's fine. It's not that, doesn't do much heavy lifting in the marketing though, because nobody in the history of the world has ever woke up in the morning and said, so glad to be a conscious entrepreneur today. Or maybe people have, but this is not a common thing. This is not how people identify, because they tend to think instead, they might think, so great to be a relationship coach today. So great to be a massage therapist, but they're probably not walking. Somebody says, what do you do? I'm a conscious entrepreneur. I've never heard it anyways. I've never heard somebody say, I'm a spiritual entrepreneur. These tend to be our words. So I just think it's useful for us in our heads, but it's limited use in marketing. Release energy, that's, I think, probably jargony. But again, it depends who you're trying to reach. If they're an energy healer and they already get this world, then perfect. Okay, but let's go over this again. I help women entrepreneurs clear their subconscious fears and anxiety about not being good enough. My guess is they're not coming to you saying, I have this strange belief that I'm not good enough and I can't seem to shake it. So if they're not coming to you explicitly for that, if they're not lying in bed at night at 3 a.m. thinking, God, why do I have this belief that I'm not good enough? This is crazy. Look at how much I've achieved in my life. If they're not having that thought, I would cut that whole section, because that's your diagnosis. Is what I hear in the diagnosis is that they have a subconscious belief or fear that they're not good enough, and that subconscious fear is creating anxiety in them. That's the diagnosis I hear. So then again, the question is, right, if somebody has that belief, that subconscious belief that they're not good enough, what happens in their life? What are the symptoms that results in? So we take it back to Island A, to the symptom. So they can love themselves. Now that's your diagnosis again, that's not a symptom. What I hear you saying is these people don't love themselves enough. So one of the ways you can tell, is it diagnosis or symptom, is just, is this what you think they need, or is this what they're craving? And that sounds like what you think they need. Oh man, you need some more self-love. Now that's probably true, but it's not useful in this statement. So again, the question is, okay, if people don't love themselves, what are the symptoms of that? Confidently align with their potential. Again, I would say that's diagnosis. That's your belief. That's your assessment of the situation, that you are not aligned with your potential. Here's the problem. You have this potential and you're out of kilter with that. So we got to get you back in line with that. But again, it doesn't sound like it's a symptom. So you would take it back. Okay, if somebody is really not confidently aligned with their potential, what happens in their life? What doesn't happen? What would be noticeable? And it's so important to make this distinction between symptom and diagnosis. So for example, you saw I was drinking some algae water here. And, if you get migraines, one take on migraine is it's about dehydration. So if there was a headline that said, struggle with migraines, ? Somebody who struggled with migraines would say, oh, that they would pay attention. That's relevant to them. But if the headline said, are you often chronically dehydrated? It's not going to grab people, because nobody's going to just say, wait, am I? Whoa, they don't recognize that, because that's our diagnosis. It's not their symptom. The symptom is the migraine. The dehydration is our diagnosis. So manifest the life and business that they love. Aha, so here we go. So they have, there's some kind of, life that they want. They're a women solopreneur, and they want to create, so it's almost like everything in between could be cut out. The core of it is, I help women solopreneurs manifest the life and business that they love. And so again, there are a few next steps on this one. Could be even if, without, it could be you even hone in on a particular type of solopreneur. It's service providers, product makers. And the big question for me is, what's Island A for them? I mean, I get it. You help them create the kind of business and life that they love. But what's stopping them? And particularly a question for everyone, what is it in their own mind that's stopping them? Because this is the difference between Island A and the diagnosis. Because they might say, oh, I would, but I just I'm so busy is the thing. And there's just a lot going on. And it's just tough. And they have all these things that they think is about. And this is that you're at the bar at 3 a.m. You're both a little drunk. And they say, why can't I create and manifest this business and life I love? I see everyone on Instagram. They've all got it. I don't have it. Why? And you look at, you say, here's why. Because you don't think you're good enough and you don't love yourself or whatever. Yeah. That's where that goes. But it just doesn't go in this statement. It's incredibly important. I mean, literally in August, I'm doing a 30-day program on point of view marketing. I wrote an ebook on point of view marketing. I have dozens of videos on YouTube about point of view marketing, which is all diagnosis. So this is an important thing, but it's not in this statement. This statement is, well, point of view might appear, as I gave an example earlier, but it's probably, this is just Island A, Island B, maybe a bit of the boat, maybe a bit of point of view. We just want them to read it and say, that is me. You nailed it. Now tell me more. I'm open to hear more. So that's what I'd say.
And Tad, just to clarify, the whole bar at 3 a.m. thing, when they come to you, they're asking for the diagnosis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah, because they're tired of being in pain. There's a certain point, the breaking point, the right moment, where people just want to know the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Evelyn, is that helpful?
Thank you. Yes, very. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, let's continue on. And we have with us Jason. Hey, Jason. All right.
And Jason, where are you calling in from?
Oh, go ahead and unmute, Jason.
I'm based in Fort Lauderdale in Florida.
All right, cool.
Okay, so Jason, here's the statement. Whoops, got it. Okay.
So I offer continuing education for coaches and consultants seeking to uplevel their skills themselves and their business. Great. Okay. So I know my niching statement above is vague, but I'm thinking, would you recommend a niching statement for each offering versus a general niching statement? Or would it be ideal to have both a general statement with clear audience, problem, outcome, and more specific niching statements for each offering? Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, this is what you've written there, I would say is a home run on what I call the big circle, the ideal client. Great. Or here's generally what I do. And I think it's fine to have the general level of it. Somebody says, what do? I marketing for hippies. I mean, that's broad. And what the hell does that mean? But here's something, a little trick for you all to use, little hack is you can give 3 examples. So I offer continuing education for coaches and consultants seeking to uplevel their skills, such as these kind of skills, or they're or themselves or their business. For example, and then you can name the top 3 main issues. And if you weave that in, then people are like, oh, I get it. Because otherwise people say, oh, skills, you mean like web design skills? Or they think, this is the danger of the jargon and these broad titles. I was doing one and somebody said, I work with creatives. I said, okay, everyone, in the chat below, I want you to write down the 3 professions you most associate with the word creatives. And we had 15, 20 people and there was almost no overlap. Everyone had a different association. So when we say up level, their skills themselves, their business, if I were to say to everyone here in the chat, what do you think that means? We would have a bunch of different things. And fuzzy doesn't help. The confused mind says no. Or worse, it says yes, and you get a shitty client who's not a fit. So great, here to up level my, and then you're not offering the thing. But on a website, in very practical terms, what can happen is they come and it's like, hey, here's a website for coaches and consultants who want to up level. If you want to up level this, boom, click here, this, boom, click here, this, click here. And it can just direct them to exactly the space. And then on that page, you're speaking to that specific thing. So then it's like, hey, you're a coach and consultant and you're struggling with this. Now it's a sales that's very targeted. And so I think it's fine if the homepage is, shit, the truth is, it's helpful if the homepage is just super, super narrow. That's make all of our lives easier when we do that. But, we don't always want to do that. So having 3 options like that can be really helpful.
Yeah, may I ask a follow-up here? So one of the ways that I think about it is kind of like there's the early group who's trying to get their first client, maybe even before they get certified. Then you've got the people who want to have like a waiting list and fill up their prep. So going from an emerging coach to an established coach, and then you've got established coaches and beyond, and thinking about it in these kind of segments. But focusing on one versus multiple or one at a time. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's okay. So that's great. So what Jason has just done is demonstrate that you can sometimes have 3 different target markets, and sometimes though it's the same person at different stages in their journey.
Right.
So that's just something for you to all think about. Like, wait, do I have 3 different target markets, or is this just the same person at stage 1, 2, and 3? So the most important thing is to really hone in. Okay, what's Island A and Island B for each of those? What's the problem? What's the symptoms they have at this level? What are they craving at this level? Because it's different at those 3 levels. Of course, there is an option where you could say, you know what, I really prefer that middle level, or actually I prefer working with the senior coaches, and you just really focus on that and the whole website gets built around that. That's certainly a possibility. But otherwise, I think it's fine. You just hone the big circle as much as you can. And sometimes this will be honed by your point of view, your vibe, your perspective. So, it could be like continuing, like punk rock continuing education for coaches and consultants. There's a woman in my membership program, Nick Danu, who's she was a hairstylist and she teaches yoga and she's got a punk rock ethic. And she's got this niche of yoga for hairstylists. It's too good because they stand all day, their back gets jacked. And so there's very predictable things that happen. So she can have very targeted, help for them. And she's got a punk rock ethic. So I was like, man, your Instagram, that's easy. You just share all the punk rock stuff you're interested in. You share yoga things, but you also share hairstylist memes. I'm sure there's a whole universe of that none of us know about. So that, you know what I'm saying, just who she is, the punk rockness could have a presence there. So there may be something like that for you, where it's like, hey, I work with coaches and consultants. So you're marketing for hippies, for example. There's a particular brand of entrepreneurs, just not all entrepreneurs, this is hippies. And so maybe there's something like that for you of I work with redneck coaches and consultants, or I work with, left-wing radical coaches and consultants, anarchist, whatever. There may be something like that to consider that could help hone who it is for. There also might be something to hone in terms of how you do it. Maybe there's a certain style you have that could help hone the big circle as well.
Would that include a modality, like a modality that I use, or should I shy away from that in the?
If it's core through all of them.
Like Jason is, expert at NLP, but a particular school of thought within NLP called neurosemantics. So NLP is well known.
Yeah. So that could be, I would just say it depends. Like if that's what you're really offering, if that's the core thing, if that's what they're coming for, then yeah, I offer continuing NLP based education for coaches and consultants. And that could be, because people, I used to, my workshop say, there's island A, island B, there's a boat. Nobody gives a shit about your boat. It's mostly true, but it's not entirely true, because the truth is I went through something real traumatic years ago and I was looking for a trauma therapist. And I'd read Peter Levine's book about trauma. And I thought, I'm looking for somebody who does somatic experiencing, and I wouldn't mind if they had nonviolent communication too, because those are two modalities. And so I was literally looking for Edmonton somatic experiencing, nonviolent communication, and hoping something would show up. So people do look for the boat. And if they're looking for a business coach who's also got NLP, then that's probably going to be very compelling to them. So it could be, yeah.
So thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for coming, Jason.
Yeah. Tamar.
By the way, I got a little extension. My friend's going to be running a little late, so I can stick around a little longer.
Okay, well, just let us know, Tad. Yeah. All right, and Tomar. It's and Tomar has been actually working on the statement, all day, not all day, but once I put it out here, I noticed she made some changes. So even the process itself of putting it here is already, hopefully it's already helpful.
Because I watched that wonderful video of the last one you did, Ted,
which I will
really
link below for those who are watching this later. We actually had a similar type of experience last year, and that was helpful too.
Bullseye after bullseye.
Yeah, that's great. So Tomar or Tad, go ahead, and here's the statement. Yeah.
Okay, so you said, I work with light workers, healers, and intuitives, and those longing to help heal the world who can't move forward because they're stuck in confusion, fear, or lack of confidence. I help them understand and dissolve their blocks and connect deeply to their purpose so they can liberate their energy and their true potential. Okay. Again, I would say this is a good big circle. It's a good broad ideal client kind of beginning. It's a good foundation. And what's the moment they usually come to you tomorrow? Like what's the moment they usually appear in your life where they finally, they're ready?
I want to say the word despair. It's like this never ends, and I'm just giving up on myself. I don't think I can do this. I don't have what it takes. It's not happening.
Oh, what's not happening?
Well, it's like this tremendous, what people feel is sometimes it could be, I feel I know I'm so full of gifts, that are ready, like an apple tree that wants to be picked. I'm full of these gifts, these apples, but there's no basket to put them in. Or it could also be, I don't know what it is I'm here to do. I just know I have to help. I just
Uh-huh.
have to help the world. So it could be, both of those or one or the other. But then there's this sort of locked in syndrome. Like, I know I'm supposed to do it. I know I somehow have that in me, or I wouldn't feel this, but I can't find it. I can't reach it. And I don't know how to give it form. And, I see other people doing things, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So a lot of it is feeling lost. And I've tried this and I've tried that, and nothing's going anywhere.
Yeah, so they're at a point where they haven't even started a business, a project. They just have this inside them.
Sometimes they haven't, and sometimes they do have a kind of, what hobby business, so to speak. Like I do some massage, I do some this, I do some tarot readings, but it's not making any money, and it's not really happening. Or I've been doing this for ages on the side, but I think I just want to take it to the next level and make it a real business now. And I want to commit more to what I'm here for. Like I've been playing it safe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear and a lot of unworthiness. And
What's the fear? What's the fear of what might happen? What's the worst case scenario?
well, Tad, I'm sure you know this. Very common syndrome among light workers is a tremendous fear of being visible, tremendous fear of being attacked, being people, whatever it is. And of course, I believe a lot of that comes from past life memories, real true history, because we know what's happened on this planet. And whether it's past life or not, we know what's happened to people who have been light workers or healers or herbalists or whatever, psychics. So there's somehow a kind of semi-conscious or unconscious fear. That's not what they name it. It's more like, it's like I just can't connect there's often a feeling of helplessness. It's not being strong, not feeling supported, not feeling really grounded. It's a lot of fantasy, a lot of wishful thinking.
Yeah. So well, part of what I hear is similar to Jason's situation in a way. There are different moments they're at.
Mm.
This may be the first thing, is to distinguish what are the different moments they appear. So one moment sounds like I haven't started anything. There's something in me to start. I know there's a project or a business or something. Number one. Number two could be I've started something, like you're saying, it's a hobby. I've been doing it on the side, but it doesn't make any money. And something has changed, and that's worth lingering over, is what changed in their life. Because sometimes they got fired, and now this is going to be my income, or it just, they woke up one morning, it's like, I want to spend more time on this. Maybe their job was shitty, maybe they break up, I don't know what it is, but something has happened where now they're going to take it more seriously. And so it's not just a hobby. And the other one might be, no, this is full time, and yet I can feel something is blocking me.
That's right.
Internally from growing this to the level I want it to be. And I think it's like I'm so scared to be visible. I notice I go to put things on social media or emails, and I just can't, or I don't, or I avoid it. And I'm starting to think, wait, I know how to do this technically, and I'm not doing it, and something's holding me back. So that could be a simple version of those three moments. Yeah. So then when they come to your site, it's, hey, if you're this one, click here. If you're this one, click here. If you're this one, click here.
And just on a very physical level, a lot of people just don't have the first clue how to create a business. That's the other thing. What do I do first? And then what do I do? How do I make this happen?
Yes.
I think that the desire, yes, of course, someone could have lost a job or suddenly needs more money, or, that goes on. But there's also something in the world. It's like, things are getting more serious, more scary, more disturbing. And I feel like I have to do something.
Beautiful. I felt that in there, in what you were writing about so I would name that explicitly as well. To me, that's the big circle, is you see what's happening in the world and you can see that it's an all hands on deck kind of
That's
moment.
what I often say. That's right.
And it's and everyone's needed, and you know you've got something to give. And you
Yes.
know, my guess is it may depend on the age of them, but perhaps they're like, I only have so many summers left.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
make them count. I don't want to die with my music still inside.
Yes, I have that on my homepage.
Amazing. So yeah,
Yeah,
I want to leave everything on the table, you know.
that's right. Right. I talk about there being a double urgency when you're older. It's like the world's clock is ticking and your clock is ticking at the same time.
Beautiful. So that's a great example of articulating a moment.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then it's right. So you feel this urgency, and you're probably in one of these three moments.
Mm-hmm.
Each of those moments has a bit of a different need. You know,
Yes.
just starting a business, you just need somebody to help brainstorm it, help you get clear, help you figure out some direction. As a general, what are your gifts? What's your purpose? Help with that. And now, if you've already got something and you want to take it beyond a hobby, well, there's a different. And this is where the diagnosis can come in. But you know, you say, look, at this moment, here's the symptoms. Here's what you're craving, and here's what's most needed at this level of developing a business. Some very practical things, but also, you know, here's the inner and the outer things that are needed. I could see doing that on all three. On the
Yes.
inside, what's needed is this. On the outer level, what's needed are these things. And
Oh,
then
that's
at that
brilliant.
level, yeah, at the third level where you're already doing it, but you just know there's something holding you back, or it's just you can feel that it's go time. I feel like there's another level of me and my work needed. I don't know what that is. Well, here's what you need internally, and here's what you need externally. And you know, so at that third level, I can see it's, yeah. I mean, you got to. This is a real grow up time. This is you gotta let go of a lot of shit in your life. A lot of the past hurts and resentments. You gotta move past them. You gotta. The playing
Yeah.
small to the extent that you've been doing that. You've got to let that go. There's a, you know, and it's a very candid, firm, this is what's needed at those levels. So that's, again, moves into the point of view marketing and mapping.
Yeah, and that really resonates with me, Tags. That's what I feel. This is go time. This is go time.
That I would put that phraseology, the go time. It's all hands on deck. You know, you look at the world and you see all these things happening, and you feel, you know, I can see on one level you feel gutted, and on the other level you feel galvanized.
Beautiful. That's right. That's it. Oh my God, that's so powerful. One level you feel gutted, another level you feel galvanized. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's so good to see you, Paula.
So great to see you, Ted.
I don't know if we have time for another one or two, but I'll let you determine that. Okay, so next up we have, am I already sharing the screen? Yeah, I think I am. Okay, next up we have Ilana. Ilana, are you still here?
I'm here.
All right, wonderful.
George,
hi there. Yes.
Got you sharing the screen within sharing the screen.
Yeah. Let me reshare this actually. I was trying to get clever and share two different things, but I'm going to just stick with one. It's a little simpler. Okay. So Ilana, here is her statement.
It's a bit of a mess.
Oh, and then you have something added. Okay, good. Okay, so
a bit of a mess. Oh, well, maybe we should just, skip it. Right.
Here we go.
Ilana says, I help women do something they felt afraid to do, but always wanted to do, like travel, learn a new skill, lift weights, basically pushing their edge in service to feeling more confident in their lives. Or I help women who think it's too late to try something new, women over 40 who feel like time is running out and they haven't lived yet. I love this. Okay, this is great. So on one level, it's too broad. I don't get it. At one level, and another level, I totally get it. It's broad in that it's not a specific thing to do, but what Ilana has nailed here is the moment in somebody's life, and this is if you're looking for the trophy, if you're looking for the gold star in this kind of exercise, that's what you're trying to do. You're articulating a moment in somebody's life, and they read it and say, "That's where I am right now. Are you spying on me? That's eerie. That's." Exactly. I was thinking that this morning. That's what we're going for. So This idea of time's running out. They haven't lived yet. Oh my God, I want to try something new. The thing I'll say that here's why I know this is good is and has some spark to it is I just start getting ideas. Oh, well, you could do this and this and this. And it just strikes me this would be an amazing online community. This
Yeah, I
would
was thinking that.
yeah, this would be one hell of a membership program where it could be like, look, you're going to be in a community of women, and like once a month, you're going to do something you're afraid to do. And you're going to be cheering each other on. You're going to be supporting each other on pushing that edge. Oh man, that would be just. I think that's got some real legs to it. You know, they kind of like a little progress log that they do every month. They report in. You know, every month they get to be on a little group call. And okay, what did you do? What was the thing? And if you didn't, why not? And let's talk about that. You know, yeah, what have been the sticking points? And you could have I mean, my God, the testimonials you could get, you know, boy, by the end of this year, I'd done 12 things I thought I would never do. I've never felt more alive. I feel so energized, you know, in my life. It's been wonderful. And it's the thing I also like about this is it's very practical. It's like there's a specific thing and you'll know when it's happened. That's an Island B. That's a really good definition of Island B. Island B is the result and it's achievable, you know, and was it neurolinguistic programming? They talked about that. It's just like there's a evidence something. Jason's just saying, what a rookie. But there is evidence. How would you know you achieved this damn thing anyways? And that's sometimes when you look at the Island B, you look at it and it's like, how would they know? KPI. I was going to say, Jason, it's KPI. I mean, I didn't want to, you know, you're the NLP guy. I didn't want to embarrass you. Yeah, but yeah, you have this, because if it's like, I'm going to help you have a more expansive sense of yourself. Well, cool, but how are they going to know? Yeah, what's the key progress indicator? Key performance indicator? Yeah, what's the evidence? How would you know? So this is great because you will have here's something, you know, and you'll know you've done it because it's a discrete something. But then let's say if you're building a community, then part of the craving they may have is actually to be a part of that community. That may be a part of Island B. Is, you know, you're over 40. You're looking at the rest of your life and I'm glad you brought this one up because there's another island. There's Island A, there's Island B. I mean, there's a few other islands, but one of them is Island Z or Island Z, which is, that's the nightmare they have of what will happen if they never get off Island A.
Right.
I can't tell you how many women I know who have the secret fear that they'll end up a bag lady.
Yep. Oh, seriously. Yep.
Or, you know, how many of us have that fear of, you know, you're visiting your great aunt or uncle or grandparents who've completely lost it to dementia in the home. And you think, gosh, shoot me. Don't let me get here. Oh God, you know, there's a fear of what will happen if I don't take care of myself. Or a friend of mine was a nurse and she could see all her colleagues who are nurses, they get to 65, they often get cancer.
Mm-hmm.
They're depressed and there's a high level of suicide after they retire. Because they give everything. And then they, you know, anyway, you'd think they would want to leave and retire and they'd be okay, but there's this void. Anyways, she could see them and she was sitting there with one of her colleagues and saying, well, you know, in 20 years, you know, well, talking as if my friend was still going to be. And she just looked at her just, oh, God, no. So this can be one of the questions is, who is it these women are looking at who they think, don't let that happen to me. I don't want to be that one. And this is very helpful for all of you to think about this with your clients. There's two good questions that can really help you hone the niche. Island A and B. So for Island A, who is it they don't want to end up as? What's that situation they never want to find themselves in? That when they look at it, they just shudder. Fuck no. Island B, who do they envy and why? Who are those people they look at and they think, oh my God, I wish I could be like that woman, eat, pray, love. Oh, that's my dream to do something like that. I never could though, but they envy them. Yeah, so who do they fear becoming or And then who do they envy? And yeah, and then you just hone that. You massage it in. And that can be the headline. Hey, do you not want to end up? Or it's just in the copy. You look at your family, you look at your friends and colleagues at work, and they're tired, and they're full of regrets and bitterness about their life, and you think, I don't want to go like that. And then you see these movies or you read these books, and you have friends who do these outrageous things, and you think, I never could. And oh, here's another thing, because one of the things that fits into this niching thing of what we're known for is the bigger why. Are you familiar with Simon Sinek's work?
Yes. Yep.
I was reading this, oh man, extraordinary book, fellow Martin Prechtel, a brand new book of his called Rescuing the Light. And oh, this isn't even my copy. But he talks about hope. And he had a beautiful way of saying this. It's like, basically, instead of being obsessed with hope, you become the hope for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You don't try to get it, you become it.
Mm-hmm.
You become a source of hope. And so I could see a similar thing in terms of a bigger why. I often say this with marketing, and I say, I mean, will marketing help you make more money? Yeah, obviously. But there's reasons to get good at it that are much more important than that. One of them is, if you're more successful, how many people sit there at a job they hate, and they look at people like us and they think, oh, maybe I could have my own business. But if they see that once they get to know the situation, we are miserable and struggling, they don't take the leap. And like Tomar said, hey, it's all hands on deck right now. The world's on fire. We really need everybody involved. But if they look at people like that, so it's like, hey, by joining this program, yeah, you're going to have some amazing experiences, but think about the younger women in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Think about all those young ones that are looking at you, and think what your example would mean to them. If at the end of the year, you'd gone skydiving, you'd broken up with that shitty boyfriend, you got a new job, you moved, you painted your home outrageous colors, little things, big things that just seemed impossible. You shaved your head, you got a mohawk, you changed your style entirely. What would it mean for them to see one incarnated real life example of somebody who was willing to do these things?
Yeah.
You could be that crazy aunt. Clarissa Pinkola Estes talks about this a lot. Yeah, the crazy ants, the dangerous ant. It's like, man, you're dangerous. You could be that, and this will change the life of a lot of people, and you'll never know.
Thank you. That's all very helpful. You certainly captured the essence and everything you shared of what I was going for. And you mentioned it was too broad on one hand.
Yeah.
And so I guess I will just sort of narrow that down.
Well, I don't know if you need to, actually.
Okay.
It's too broad in the way of, I help people do stuff they've never done. It's like, well, what is stuff?
Right.
But I think it's fine. You just give a number of, this is one of those like top 3 example things, things they've never done, such as blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, I get the flavor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, then you want social media content? There's your social media content. Oh my God, this woman in the membership just did the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
You just share stories.
Yeah.
All day long. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Amazing work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ilana. Thanks, Tad. Okay. All right. Tad, do we have time for one more?
One
quick
more.
one. Okay, great. And Carrie, you are up. Thanks for your patience.
Hey, Carrie, where are you zooming in from?
I'm near San Francisco.
All right. I spent a bunch of time in Santa Cruz, California in the mid 90s. And here's a mortifying thing. The kids are saying in the 1900s. Yeah, you know you're getting old. In the last century. Okay, so okay. So I help midlife women who are stuck or lost in their own lives, have given their all to their families and careers, and knows there is more, go from good to great while discovering their way to clarity, confidence, and freedom. Okay, so midlife women, great. You know when they are. That's a big question. When, not just who are they, but when are they? What's the perfect moment to show up? Yeah. Anyone who feels stuck or lost in their own lives. So this is where I would hone it a bit more. What is the nature of that stuckness or lostness? Are they is it all over their life? You know, career, health, money, spirituality. So is there a particular tenor, a flavor, a tone to the lostness? How long has it been going on? And I also find myself wondering, like, okay, one of the questions I'll often ask is, so what? You know, people actually go to corn labyrinths to get lost. That's literally what they're aiming for. Some people, you go into one of those rooms, the you know, the rooms where you can't get out of. There's been all the rage lately.
Mhm.
The escape rooms.
Yeah.
People literally go to get stuck.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so they're lost and they're stuck. That sounds sweet. People pay money for those. So what's the problem? Who gives a shit? Why would they care that they're stuck and lost? And this is an important thing, to make a distinction between the situation and the problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like
Okay.
that's the
So it's like that they're going to implode if they don't make a change, because basically they've lost, like as women tend to do, they've lost themselves over the years, giving. And so they know that there's something that they haven't fulfilled within themselves. And so they may not even know what direction to turn or what to do. They just know there's something and they need some help with clarity, to discover more about themselves, where their ease is, how decisions are best made for them. Just a different way of experiencing their life is really just getting off the treadmill, the routine, the dreaded routine.
Yeah. So that's great. So that's the kind of stuff that appears in this. The thing that most grabbed me from what you said is that they're about to explode. That's a great articulation of a perfect moment to show up.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're at a point where they just know there's something in me to do. There's some change I need to make. The question I would have is, are they clear what that is at all? Or are they just, there's a formless welling up inside of me and I'm gonna burst?
It can be both. From my experience with who I'm working with, it can be both that.
So that could be two different things that click on the homepage too.
Mhm.
It could be, you just feel this pressure inside of you, you're gonna burst. So click here if you have no idea what it is, and click here if you actually know the thing you need to do. Because that could be, to me, those are two different processes.
True. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, because they've given their lives to their family and career. Yeah, and so again, there's something that's happened that's had them say, I don't want to give everything to them anymore.
Yeah, I think it's this point in life where the kids are independent enough, they don't need constant care, and they're looking at how much time is left, right? And is this the experience I want to have, where I'm just kind of feeling like, who am I? You know, so it is that moment in time where there's an opening of time that they can give to themselves.
Yeah, as Bings is saying, the empty nesters. I mean, it sounds like.
They can be empty nesters, or even before that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just when they don't have to be taking care of their kids so much, like when they're little.
Got it.
Hauling them around everywhere. So I'd say teenagers to empty nesters.
Yeah. Yeah. The midlife crisis, totally.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So it's, yes, their kids are older. They have the freedom. They suddenly have space that they just didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
And they're seeing some discretionary time and energy. It's like, wait, what if I just didn't give that away? What if I kept some of that for me? What could I do? And I actually feel really excited either about a formless something or a formed something. Do you have a draw or a preference to just helping them figure out or helping them achieve a thing they already know?
So I help them figure out how to make decisions. I help them figure out when they're doing things that energize them versus deplete them. I help them understand when they're, I'll say, living more in their shadow self by their thoughts and behaviors, and how to course correct to get into their best light. So it's really the same process for all of them, versus a specific destination. It's learning how to find their, because it's self-discovery. So it's learning how to, which I didn't put there, which it's.
And well, and here this becomes the big question: is are they craving self-discovery, or is that what you think they need?
Yeah, well, they're craving a different way, and they don't know the way. So they're looking for a different way to approach how they're making decisions and going about life. Yeah.
Right. They're aware something about this giving everything away to my friends and career
Yeah.
and family has not been working. And so I gotta, now are they aware when they come to you, are they cognizant of that man, I've given everything away to everybody else. I haven't taken care of myself.
Yeah, they're cognizant of that. And also there could be a threshold of some change coming. Like they could be becoming empty nesters. Could be becoming close to retirement.
Yeah.
Can I just go backwards for a second? You made a comment, is it the same person in different phases of life? This is that person who's had their college career might not have, or choice might not have been the right choice for their major. Their first 10 years of working might not have fit, but they did it anyhow. They pushed through. Then they gave all their energy to family and career, and now they're at that midway point. And it might even be the retired ones who've been on just the treadmill, like unfulfilled. And now they have this space where they can leave their legacy or find their purpose or whatever they're wanting to still do.
Why haven't they made these changes up till now?
Because they haven't known how. They haven't known what's the right thing for them. They've been lost from themselves, disconnected.
Yeah, but is that changed now?
That hasn't changed them, but that's what they want, is they want help shifting. And
Yeah.
that's why they're frustrated, because they haven't gotten to where they want to be.
Yeah, it's so I would just say that's the thing to keep honing. What's this perfect moment? What's the breaking point? What's the because they haven't known. I just find myself, what is it they haven't known like what to do, like they haven't had a direction?
Well,
It could be, maybe that they also, for whatever reason, the space is opening up, moving ahead, something clicks where they say, now I see the direction. Now I see a possibility. That could be the thing. Or it's just, I'm pregnant and I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but I know I'm pregnant with something.
I think it's more like they've made decisions that just haven't fit right. So they've made a series of decisions.
Do they have regrets?
Yes, for sure they have regrets.
Yeah, okay.
They don't want to have regrets anymore.
Yeah, this is okay, great. So that I'm hearing within that there's a similar thing I was saying with the last one about you're looking at people around you and you think, I don't want my life to end up like that.
Exactly. Yes, it is similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see articulating that you don't want to, you've seen so many people die or get older and they never did the thing.
Right.
And it was just too late. Oh, well, we'll go on vacation, once we retire, and then a heart attack, and they never did it. They never did the thing. And you're just, wait, I can't wait anymore. Yeah, this is urgent. This is now, the clock is ticking on this. And is there a timeline that you, because I'm thinking this could be a program like 1 year to a new life or something.
Oh, it's a 5-month program.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Right. So, half a year to a new life, really.
And one thing that, Carrie, you haven't mentioned at all here is the fact that it is an extremely creative program. I mean, Carrie's an artist. The program is a lot of art involved in it. So that's part of, I think, the draw and what makes it unique.
Yeah, it's 4 different methods, some science-based, some ancient wisdom-based, but art is the commonality on how they integrate it. And we create art projects based on their learnings about themselves. So that just helps make it experiential and integrate the work.
Amazing. So this to me is Well, there's two possibilities. One is it's just point of view. Not saying just to diminish it, but it goes further down the sales letter. We say, look, you're lost. Here's the thing. One of the best ways to figure out what's up for you is not to be thinking it through rationally, but using art. And this is, a really
Yes, get out of the brain.
get
Yes.
out of the brain, powerful. So it's used as that, but it could also be in the headline where maybe it's, you feel lost and you feel like you've got something creative in you to do and you don't even know where to start. Hey, start with this program. We're going to start you out real easy with some simple art projects, but it'll get you going on the creativity and also give you some experience with different types of art. And you may decide you want to keep going, or it'll at least kind of wet your whistle on this stuff. So I can see that.
Yeah, it does appeal to those who want to be creative, but it's really not about the art. That's the part of the message. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But the people who are coming the women who are coming are definitely enjoying the art processes. That's part of the appeal for sure.
Yeah. So then maybe it's just more of a point of view piece. And you could, if with permission, you could share some of the art that people have come up with. Like, here's some of the things, and I could see very powerful in the sales letter case studies. They could be anonymous or not, depending on their preference. But here's this person, they came in the program with this. These are the pieces of art they produced. This is what it meant to them. Here's what they had to say at the end. Boom.
Yeah, and I have some of that on my website, and I have a gallery of all the art projects as well.
Amazing. The more, just for everyone, the more you can do case studies, the better. Case studies are so much better than testimonials. This is where it comes alive, because what you're doing is the whole, everything we've been doing in these statements, you're turning into a story, a real life story. So you're saying Island A, Island B.
Okay.
And they have a bookend to them. Yeah, there's Island A, Island B is the bookending of it. One of my clients, Larissa Noonan, LarissaNoonan.com, she works with people who grew up in they want to be witchy healers, but they grew up in fundamentalist Christian homes and had a kind of fucked up childhood. So that gets in the way of them doing this witchy healing stuff. And her bio, the opening and closing sentence were so great. Is the opening sentence of her bio, and this is a good thing to think about with your bio, which is, by the way, everything we've been working on here, especially if you're in the healing arts, because you're saying, here's my story of that exact same journey I'm taking you on. So the opening sentence was something like, I grew up afraid I was going to burn in hell. I think that's the opening sentence. And the last sentence is, I no longer fear burning in hell. Very powerful. Island A, B. So you can do that with a bio. You can also do it with a case study. I came into this program feeling so stuck and lost in my life and no idea where to go. And at the end of it, I did this art project, and at the end, wow, here's what happened for me. And you can also intersperse it with things you saw, things you noticed, and little interactions you had in the program. You clear it by them. But those kinds of case studies, it brings it alive. There was when I was in the UK, I did a marketing workshop, and somebody, I think I was talking about this, and somebody said, I'll give you an example. It said, my kid was looking at art colleges. There were 4 art colleges that she was looking at in the UK at the time. 3 of the art colleges, it was just, their websites were me. All right, enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me? It was that kind of a self-referential everything. But the 4th one had all these case studies. Here's our alumni, and here's what they're doing. And she read all of them because that was her Island B. I want to be where they are. Verge Permaculture .ca, I think it is, .com in Calgary, their permaculture company. They spent $10,000 on videos, but the videos, it wasn't a $10,000, hey, we're Verge Permaculture, we're amazing. They picked 10 of their grads and they made a little, 10-minute film about each of them. Amazing. So you had these people saying, yeah, I went to Verge Permaculture training, and now here's our homestead. And you just know people are watching, saying, but that's what I want. They could help me get that thing, and they got that person in real life. So case studies, if you can do them, if you can get them.
And if actually it's the perfect timing, in about 2 weeks, we're ending this next session. So that's perfect.
Speaking of perfect timing, let's actually wrap this up, given that Tad, you probably need to get going, and the rest of us as well. So let's continue the conversation underneath the video. And if there are any questions, I could send it to Tad. Well, for a limited time anyway. I'll be sure to do that, and we'll just continue from there. So thank you so much, Tad. Thank you, Carrie. Sorry that we couldn't go longer, but I think this is plenty. I think for everybody here to think about. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And Tad, thank you for your awesome work. I'll be sure, of course, to put all the links. Is there anything, Tad, you want to say as we end? Is there a particular program that's coming up or that's tied to this that people should know about?
No, but there is a program coming up, the shameless plug. If you go to marketingforhippies.com/POV30day, point of view 30 day, it's a 30-day program coming up in August around this whole idea of point of view marketing.
Yeah,
and I'm super proud of it. This is, of everything I talk about in marketing, this is, I think, the thing I'm most compelled by, I'm most proud of, because once you've figured out your niche, that's the relevance piece. But the very next question that people have is the credibility piece. They want to know, well, how are you going to help me do this? What's the premise? What's the, So I really, and you might want to just check it out, because there are a number of videos on the sales letter and links at the very bottom of that help make the case for this point of view thing. So whether or not you sign up for the program, just literally on the sales letter with the videos and the links, there's a ton of really great inspiration there. And so thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you down the road sometime, perhaps.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tad. Thank you, everybody. See you later. My cat wants to go out, so this is a great time for us to complete. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.